So if you'll join me in giving our speaker a warm Paulding County welcome.
Thank you, everyone, and it's good to be back out in Paulding County once again. Kennesaw State University, as I hope everybody in the room knows, in collaboration with Georgia Highlands College, has a wonderful set of facilities right in downtown Dallas. And that has just been a function of the last 8 or 9 years. So we at Kennesaw State are deeply, deeply ingrained in Paulding County. We are extremely, extremely pleased to be in Paulding. And the only thing that's going to happen at our Paulding County site is it's going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. And with that, I would like Anita and Terry and Paula to please stand. So if you don't know Anita and Terry and Paula, there they are. They do an absolutely wonderful job running the KSU Paulding County site. And if you get a chance, go down to the Georgia coast with Terry with her turtle projects. I've not done it, but she's put together books about the turtle projects that she does on the coast. Absolutely an incredible experience. Now, I want to straighten Paul out on a couple things. Number one, who is Kennesaw State's most famous alumni? Larry Nelson. Who is that? Carrick? Okay. Larry Nelson. Who is the most famous person who ever attended Kennesaw State? Who's doing that? Oh, that's Paula, you're cheating. Ryan Seacrest. So, those are our two most famous folks who have attended or graduated from KSU. But we do have all sorts of fascinating things going on at Kennesaw State right now that in the academic world, at least, are truly making large waves. Probably the biggest thing going on right now that is making large waves in the academic world, and as it progresses in Cobb County and Paulding County and Bartow County and Fulton County and on and on and on, of course, is our consolidation with Southern Polytechnic State University. Kennesaw State University and Southern Polytechnic State University have been and are two excellent universities. What we are going to do, what we are going to become after consolidation formally takes place on January 6th of 2015, is truly become a nationally recognized university. Now, that is really sort of amazing for this part of Georgia, because only 40 or 50 years ago, there was no university in northwestern Georgia. Now we are going to have one of the 50 largest universities in the United States in northwest Georgia. Let me say that again. We are going to have one of the 50 largest universities in the United States in northwest Georgia. And it doesn't just stop with being large. It also continues with being of extremely high quality. Many of the programs at KSU, many of the programs currently at Southern Poly, in their respective areas, are in fact already nationally recognized. And with the additional funds that we are going to be able to devote to instruction, educational support, and research, as a result of consolidation, we are going to be able to raise the profile of the new U in education, instruction, in all of the academic disciplines that we have at KSU even more. So Lily, you're coming to KSU at exactly the right time. Welcome on board. Why are we doing this? Well, as I said, as a result of the reduction of administrative overhead and as a result of the reduction in back office overhead, we are going to have, we're not sure exactly how much yet, we're still working on it, we're not sure exactly how much, but we are going to have several $1 million that we are going to be able to take out of administration and back office support and move into instruction, move into advising, move into mentoring and guidance, move into research programs that we otherwise would not have had. So this is one of the big reasons, but there's also another big reason. Study after study has shown that to the extent that students become plugged in to things in addition to their academic programs, extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities, non-curricular activities at the institution, the chances of students graduating go up and up and up and up. If you can get those students plugged into things at the university in addition to their academics. My two favorite examples. Southern Polytechnic, for obvious reasons, as an outstanding engineering and architectural institution, has a flourishing chapter of the Society of Automotive Engineers, particularly the Society of Automotive Engineers Formula Racing team. At the Kennesaw campus, we have a few students who are motorheads, who are interested in that sort of stuff, but not enough to have a SAE Formula Racing team. Now our students at KSU, at the Kennesaw campus, once consolidation occurs, are going to be able to plug into the SAE program down at the Marietta campus. Or if you want to go in the other direction, I played rugby for years and years and years and years. We at Kennesaw State, not because I'm there, but we do have a very good rugby club, both a men's rugby club and a women's rugby club. And there are some students, both males and females, at the Marietta campus, at what is now Southern Poly, who are interested in playing rugby. So right now, because there's only a few of them, they go out and play in community teams, the Renegades, Old White, etc. Now they are going to be able to play for the Kennesaw Club, either the men's club or the women's club. So again, with data analysis after data analysis showing that the extent to which students plug into things in addition to academics is a positive influence on their graduation rates, that's the second major reason why this consolidation is taking place. Now, the academic programs, we have 10 different colleges at KSU right now. With consolidation, we will be adding 3 additional colleges. The 3 additional colleges that are currently 5 schools at Southern Polytechnic. Right now at Southern Polytechnic, there is a School of Engineering and a School of Engineering Technology. With consolidation, those 2 schools are going to be aggregated into what will be called and what will become the Southern Polytechnic College of Engineering and Engineering Technology of Kennesaw State University. We wanted to maintain the name Southern Polytechnic because it does in fact have such a great renown within the engineering and particularly the engineering technology world. Second major new college that will be part of the Kennesaw State University family will be the College of Architecture and Construction Management. The College of Architecture and Construction Management, particularly with the billions of dollars of construction that is taking place in Northwest Georgia over the course of the next half decade and decade, will be funneling graduates at an accelerated rate into all of the various construction programs, architecture programs, and engineering management programs. We're extremely, extremely excited about that opportunity. And the third college, the third new college, will be a combination of what is now the School of Computing and Software Engineering at the Marietta campus at Southern Polytechnic, with the Department of Computer Sciences and Information Security at Kennesaw. Those two schools and departments are coming together into the College of Computing and Software Engineering, which I think is going to be an extremely, extremely exciting and growth-oriented program at Kennesaw State University. So those are some of the things that are happening academically at KSU. We also, as an aside, we also over the course of the last year and a half have brought on board the state of Georgia's first degree program in culinary sustainability and hospitality. We already have over 200 students who are majoring in culinary sustainability and hospitality. These will be absolutely critical leaders in the future of the hospitality industry, of the restaurant industry, of the hotel industry in Georgia and beyond. I should further note, by the way, that on campus our Commons, which is our student dining facility, was recently recognized by a national publication, a publication called The Daily Meal, which is one of the 2 or 3 Bibles, if you will, in the, excuse me, one of the 2 or 3 Bibles in the restaurant industry as the 4th best collegiate dining facility in the country. Paulding College up in Maine was number 1. Columbia University in New York was number 2. Johns Hopkins was number 3. And we were number 4 out of the over 4,000 different collegiate dining institutions in the country. So we're pretty proud of that as well. How did we get to where we are on consolidation? When the Board of Regents in November of 2013 announced that consolidation was going to take place, it came as a shock to many people. What happened relatively quickly thereafter, we put together 81 operational work groups composed of faculty, staff, alumni, and students from both institutions. Over the course of the last year, those 81 different operational work groups, consisting of somewhere in the vicinity of about 700 people, put their heads together on the specific areas that they were designated to work on, and figured out how to integrate and consolidate and bring together everything that was taking place at Southern Polytechnic and at Kennesaw State. On October 1st of this year, we had to submit to the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools a consolidation prospectus. We got that consolidation prospectus in on time, in which we told SACS, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, what we had been doing and what we planned to do to bring us together as a single institution. During October, November, and the first few days of December, SACS has been looking at that prospectus. The SACS, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, annual meeting begins this Saturday in Nashville, Tennessee. So we'll be up in Nashville on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, awaiting SACS's assessment. It's going to be positive. I can say that because we haven't heard anything from them, so I assume that's a positive indication. Then on January 6th, the Board of Regents will vote to formally consolidate Southern Polytechnic and Kennesaw State University. That does not mean that the job is done. As of the beginning of January, we will be in the second half of fiscal year 2015. As of January 3rd, when classes start, we will already have students enrolled as Southern Poly students for spring semester. So during the rest of spring semester, we will fully integrate all of our operations. So that's why I have to be careful to say continually that as of January 6th, we will be formally consolidated, full operational consolidation will not really take place until the beginning of the new fiscal year on July 1st of 2015. But even then, we're not done, because good old SACS, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, will send a visitation team to Kennesaw, to both campuses, the Marietta campus and the Kennesaw campus, and we will also have them out visiting our Dallas site as well, to make sure that we are in fact doing everything that we say we are doing. That SACS visiting team will arrive in September. They will be with us for a week. We hope for only a week, but it could be longer. And then at the December 2015 SACS meeting, which is going to be right here in Atlanta, final formal approval will be granted. So that's a little bit about what is going on at Kennesaw State and at Southern Poly with this consolidation. And I had a bet with Vaughn Williams, our athletic director, that I could get all the way to the end of my presentation without once mentioning football. So you have to tell Vaughn that I got to the end of my presentation without once mentioning football. Football, we are about 263 days away from kickoff, but who is counting? Our head coach, Brian Bohannon, who is a native of Griffin, Georgia. He graduated from Griffin High School. Brian started for his dad was the head coach at Griffin High School. Then he went to UGA as an undergraduate, started as a wideout at UGA for a couple years after graduation. He then went on to West Georgia as an assistant coach, went up to Gardner-Webb for a couple years as an assistant coach. Then Paul Johnson hired him when Paul was down at Georgia Southern. Brian was on Paul's staff for a couple of the national championship years down at Georgia Southern. Brian went with Paul up to Navy, came back to Georgia at Georgia Tech for a few years, and then when we got the permission 2 years ago to begin football, we hired Brian away from Georgia Tech. His first Brian's first recruiting class, 29 scholarship athletes, including the Atlanta Journal-Constitution's All Divisions Player of the Year, who was the starting quarterback at Griffin High School. Now, I should also point out, by the way, that the first signee to a football scholarship at Kennesaw State was from right here in Paulding County, from South Paulding High School, the quarterback then at South Paulding. So again, we're looking forward to football. It's truly a transformative experience. What is really sort of neat is how virtually the entire campus, I will say even the faculty, has signed on to how this is going to change Kennesaw State just as much as the consolidation is changing Kennesaw State. And with that, I'll shut up. Do we have time for questions, Carol?
Sure. Yes.
Dr. Papp,
Yes, sir.
what are your plans to renovate the Winn Building in downtown Dallas?
Plans to renovate the Winn Building. I will be able to tell you a little bit more about plans to renovate the Winn Building once we have our budget meetings on January 10th, January 8th with the Board of Regents, and then after the legislators of the good state of Georgia tell the university system of Georgia exactly how much money they're going to have. So, do we have any of our Paulding legislators here today? This was not a planted question, but if you do talk to them, tell them to vote yes as soon as we can get the Board of Regents. We need to do some renovation in that. We fully recognize that, as with many things, we need bugs.
What conference is Kennesaw State in, and when do you plan on hopefully coming to the ACC?
Let me take the second part of that first. Coming to the ACC will occur long after I retire. What conference are we in? In all sports, we have been and remain in the Atlantic Sun Conference. However, the Atlantic Sun Conference is not a football conference. Now, through the good efforts of the leadership of the Atlantic Sun Conference, Commissioner Ted Gumbart, and the efforts and support of folks in the Big South Conference, we will be playing football in the Big South Conference. That's Liberty, Coastal Carolina, Presbyterian, Gardner-Webb, Charleston Southern. So we're extremely pleased and extremely excited to be in the Big South Conference. Moving up from Division, what used to be Division 1AA to Division 1A, what is now called moving up from Football Championship Series to the Football Bowl Series, is a multi-year effort. The differences financially between Football Championship Series and Football Bowl Series are astronomical. To be able to play in FCS, the Football Championship Series, where we are, you need a budget of somewhere between 7 and 12 million if you're going to be competitive. We're going to be in great shape there. To be truly competitive in FBS, the Football Bowl Series, you got to be up in the 20s to 30s, and you know the Alabamas and the UGAs and the Auburns and the Ohio States of the world, they're up in the 40s, and the Georgia Techs, Auburns, you got to be up in the 40s to 50s.
Dr. Papp?
Yes, sir.
With the recent news that Alabama Birmingham is shutting down their football program, could you sort of just give us an idea about maybe how Kennesaw State will do a little differently than Alabama Birmingham did over the last
Sure.
10 years?
And the question is why. Let me start with why did UAB yesterday, actually 2 days ago, announce that they were closing down football? The answer is very simple: money. They did not have and do not have, even in the great city of Birmingham, the financial base to do football. Now, when we began football, and when I first came on as president of Kennesaw State 9 years ago, there were a number of people who said, we got to start football right away, because they knew that I, having spent so much time at Georgia Tech, 24 years on the faculty and staff there, playing rugby, having been a semi-pro basketball player, going to Dartmouth on a football scholarship, actually an academic scholarship that had a little bit of add-on from the athletic department. They figured I was sort of inclined towards football. I said, no, we weren't ready in any way, shape, or form. So about the third year of my presidency, we put together a football exploratory committee. The Football Exploratory Committee consisted of about 35 people, faculty, staff, students, alumni, from all over campus and beyond campus. And through a good stroke of great fortune, we managed to have Coach Vince Dooley from UGA. Vince agreed to chair that committee. Now, we brought Vince on board to chair that committee, not just because he's a Hall of Fame and national championship coach, but also because during his time as athletic director at UGA, UGA's athletic program became one of the 10 most profitable athletic programs in the country. So here was a guy who knew football and he knew finances, and if there was anybody who could let us know that you're not going to be able to recruit or that you're not going to be able to do the finances, it was Coach Dooley. It also helped, obviously, that he's an icon in the state of Georgia. So that's why we brought Vince on. He did a wonderful job leading that committee, and that committee laid out basically a blueprint that we feel that we followed very religiously. Believe me, I'm getting to your question. Step number one, the FEC, the Football Exploratory Committee, said, we think you can do it. So here's what you have to do. They laid out a path forward that had 3 or 4 different checkpoints. So the way I like to describe it is that the results of the Football Exploratory Committee saying, you could go forward, we think you can do it. That was sort of like having the lead at the end of the first quarter. Nice to have, but in the long run doesn't mean anything, okay? Step number 2, work with the Student Governments Association and take a vote of all students at Kennesaw State about whether or not they would be willing, and here's the kicker, whether or not they would be willing to provide an increase in the student athletic fees of $100 per student per semester to fund that program. We did that. We took the vote. The vote was positive, 58% to 42%. 1/3 of our student body voted. 1/3 of the vote, having 1/3 of your students turn out for a vote is a stunningly high percentage. Most campus-wide votes, you're down in the 9–10%. The 58–42 percentage, well, if Senator Isaacson wins by 42%, that's a landslide, right? So, okay, that was the next step. We now have a halftime lead. Really nice to have, but at the end of the day, it means nothing. Football Exploratory Committee says you also need to get public support, most importantly, a major donation from a major corporation to provide the base funding. So we spent a couple of years talking to foundations, to businesses, et cetera, et cetera. That's when we talked with Fifth Third Bank. Fifth Third Bank stepped forward. Fifth Third Bank stepped forward with a very nice arrangement with Kennesaw State. We now have the Fifth Third Stadium at Kennesaw State University. That was the 3rd step. A lead at the end of the 3rd quarter is nice to have. With all of that, we then went down to the Board of Regents. We can't do a thing with the student vote or the Fifth Third Bank until the Board of Regents says go ahead and do it. So the Board of Regents, fortunately, in February of 2013 said, yeah, you can do football. So we had a multi-year program that we followed in religious detail to make sure that we don't wind up in a situation that is similar to UAB. I told you I'd finally get around to your question. Well, thank you for your attention this afternoon. Really appreciate it. Go Paulding.
Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you being here today. KSU has always been a great institution as far as the influence it has in Paulding, and it's just exciting to hear all the great things that you guys are doing and you're going to be doing in the years to come. And we look forward to hearing more good news in the coming weeks, months, and years to come. Also, we are making, the Paulding Chamber is going to be making a donation to Toys for Tots in your name, in your behalf, and we appreciate so much you being here today. It's quite an honor to have you here to talk to us today. Thank you very much.